huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Bases Loaded on this Tuesday. It's Tuesday, May the 19th, 2026. A big card on our hands today. 15 games, one series opener, a big game there. Mike, crazy card last night. We are fired up to be in here on a Tuesday. How you feeling this morning, brother?
Man, we were chatting away about some of those outcomes last night and looking down at the clock to see that it's go time here for a new day. There's new money to be made. And this is the show where we will break down the entire baseball card. We'll share with you our thoughts, our opinions, and stick around to the end for our best bets so you know where it is that we're looking to go to the window. I had a little 2-3 night last night here on the show plays, but I did make a delicious ad, and that was on pregame and where I brought in McClanahan to get the win. You know, they let up some runs, but they put so many runs on the board there that it didn't make a difference. Hot weather across baseball land here, Shark. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about this full slate of games that we got in front of us today.
Yeah, as you said, just a crazy one yesterday. A lot of runs in Tampa Bay, 16-6. Thought I was watching a little Buccaneers-Ravens where the Ravens were kicking a couple field goals, but Trevor Rogers, just an absolute disaster. McClanahan now a clean sheet favorite. Absolutely elite stuff there. We see you guys in the chat. Kelly giving a couple comments here as we start off. If you guys are in the chat, it is 12:12 Eastern. You guys are at lunch, get a beer, get a beverage, talk some ball with us. If you're on the West Coast, get your coffee, and let's get into the card. There are 15 games. We're going to go at the best pace we always do. Let's get into the card on a suddenly not so casual Tuesday. First game on the card, 4:10 p.m. in Miami. Lone Depot Park, Braves Marlins, game 2 of this series. Yesterday, I gave you guys the Marlins. It was a beautiful hat. It was a wild blowout win, 12-0. Now you get a Braves bounce back in theory. Mike and I trying to figure out why this game is being played at 4 o'clock. This is not Wednesday or Thursday. It's not a getaway day. It's also not the weekend. It's a rare start on a Tuesday. Mike, any thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm sure some of you guys, one of you guys may know what's going on there with regards to this early start time here, but kind of an interesting one because you've got Perez on the one side of things here. And, you know, his season, I guess I got to put this graphic up here. I got ready to go. I got so excited that I just skipped right through it here, but I'll be short here. I think this is a bounce back spot for Atlanta. You know, yesterday's line was a little short for the Atlanta side of things. And then, yeah, obviously they were favored for a reason. Lefty on lefty. Garrett coming into this thing has not had but just over one inning his last start. And I just think when it comes to form, you know, you got the motivation for the bounce back. Now, I don't know where that monstrous smash of runs came into play here, but the line's moving in the Braves direction today. 78% of the bets, 92% of the cash coming in there on Hot Atlanta down there in Miami. Total's kind of fluctuating here a little bit from the 8s to some 8.5s out there, but I'm just going to go with Miami to go on the L train here. I think this is one of them spots here. The Braves, by the way, when they play a pitcher north of 7 in the ERA, they smash them. They're 25-5 over the last 13 seasons. So you give them the opportunity. It just kind of speaks to their organization as a whole, I think, Shark. You got a lot of guys in there that you got the Baldwins. They're a hitting organization, and they missed their mark yesterday. I think they come back and fire today.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a zigzag series. I'm going to give you guys the Braves here. You can get that at -133. Catching steam in the market. That was -122 about an hour ago. I think it's intelligent steam, and it might look like chalk, but I think it's correct. The Braves are coming off a loss. They got insulted 12-0. It really was J.R. Ritchie. He's a rookie pitcher.
Yeah.
He just couldn't function. That was it. And now you're getting the opposite. Martin Perez is far from a rookie. 35 years old, journeyman. He will be ready to go, and I think that's a very specific thing in this handicap. 4:10 on a Tuesday is not a normal time. So who will be less disrupted for this funky time? Definitely a veteran pitcher. And you look at the Braves in the bounce back, they're actually 10-1 last 11 off a loss in the previous game. So very much a bounce back team. And zooming into this pitching matchup, as I mentioned, we like Perez here as the mature entity at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. Braxton Garrett is in a terrible spot. He's only had one start this year. He looked absolutely useless on the road at Zebby Matthews and the Twins in his previous game. He didn't pitch all last year, and he had reconstructive arm surgery, I believe. Did not pitch for over 18 months. This is his first home start in forever. And this really couldn't get much worse for the guy. If you go back to 2024, he had 2 home matinees before getting injured. He did give up 11 earned runs in 9 1/3 innings pitched. And not coincidentally for this handicap, the last time Garrett faced the Braves, also at home 3 years ago, crazy how zoomed out we have to go with this guy coming off this arm surgery. He had the worst start of his career against this lineup. 4 1/3 innings pitched. Mike, get ready for this. 14 hits against, 4 home runs, 11 earned runs. I wasn't expecting to like this game much. When I started looking at these numbers, I actually really do like the Braves in this matchup. It's zigzag, it's bounce back, it's divisional revenge, and it really is a huge, huge edge in the pitching matchup to Martin Perez. You guys want to bet this at 410? This is not just a 410 spread the board special. It's a very good look. Take the Braves and let's cash. Next game on the card, nighttime baseball. We're going back to Tampa. Game 2 of this series, AL East. Griffin Jax versus Kyle Bradish. Last night we told you, take McClanahan as a favorite. It's going to be a thing all year. I think this guy's going to cash tickets pretty much the entire duration of the campaign. Now you get converted reliever Griffin Jax, kid out of Air Force coming from the West Coast against Kyle Bradish. This game, again, could be another chalk special, in my opinion. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it chalk? What makes it chalk? Because it's a favorite?
Yeah, just a far better team, best record in the league.
I mean, minus 120 to me isn't chalk. You know, like a minus 280 LA Dodgers, I would say is that's a pretty chalky play, right? I mean, we can look down the board and find, and big time markets and big time favorites. And my point about that is Tampa Trapa Teca. I mean, these guys smash at home, and they're continuing to dominate. And I don't know, maybe it's the preconceived notion or the negative connotation around being chalk here, but minus 120. Damn, I'm betting UFC fighters that are like minus 160, minus 170 because they're I think that they've got the opportunity. They're the better fighter. No need to get cute and over complicate a potential win and turn it into a loss. And look, at home against the division, they've won 8 in a row. They win 62% of the time over the past 8 seasons. And I don't know if I want to get involved in the Bradish business here. Baltimore looked a little deflated yesterday, kind of a low number. Could that make it one of your coin flip specials where we see Tampa, Baltimore, some funky shenanigans in the 9th inning? Jark, I want Tampa. I think this is a good price tag. I
agree. And just chalk for me is the 1 seed. It's like the NCAA tournament. You take all the 1 seeds to win the quarters to get to the Final Four. Tampa Bay being the 1 seed right now in the American League. So that's just my reference point there. Not necessarily price inflation versus deflation. But no, I agree. I think this is a Tampa Bay spot. And then you look at Jax here. I mean, not entirely sure why they're fiddling around with this guy. I mean, he was a decent reliever. He was actually a closer at one point recently. But he has looked pretty good in limited duty in his last 2 starts. Only 8 hits against in 9 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, both as a dog, interestingly enough. So he's actually being upgraded in the market to a favorite. And you do want to sell Bradish in this spot. Bradish is a home pitcher. I told you guys last time he was going to show up at home. He did. He caught a win. But if you look at his road numbers, absolutely terrible. 18 1/3 innings pitched on the road, 28 hits. 13 walks, 12 earned runs. So actually versus those peripherals, he actually is due to get worse in terms of runs scored against. And speaking of the line telling a story with these guys in this matchup, Bradish is 2-0 on the road at the AL Central as a favorite at the White Sox and the Royals. So the books got that right. He's 0-2 as a road dog at Pittsburgh and 0-1 in the division at the Yankees. This is going to be a Rays spot yet again. Take the Rays and let's cash and let's keep it moving. If you guys are in the chat, drop your comments. It is lunch hour on a Tuesday. I know how life goes. That's a flat time for most people. We are live talking baseball. Let's ramp up the energy. Next game on the card. Game 2, Reds at Phillies. Last night, I tried to wear the bye hat. Didn't own the hat, but tried to wear it. Reds did not come through for me. Tight one, though. We're talking about coin flips. 1-run game flip-flop score about 4 times throughout the late innings. 2 late runs from the Phillies to win, staying at home 5-4. Now you get an interesting pitching matchup here. Chase Burns, year 2, elite level pitcher versus Jesus Luzardo. Mike, you had the Phillies last night. You going back to the Phillies, or are we switching tonight?
Yeah, goes back to, we talked about it yesterday, and I'll continue to talk about it because this is going to be where we see that regression candidacy for the Cincinnati Reds. Look at their batting metrics. We've talked about it before. They're clustering. They're finding a way, despite, mediocre offense, to find a way to put runs on the board. And now you're coming in here against a team that's now literally, since the Don Mattingly trade, the hottest team in baseball. So they were terrible. They stunk. They shit the bed all over the place, and they're continuing to run. Add to that, you got Luzardo coming on this thing out there. That creates another situation that I really like, an advantage of Philadelphia here, and that's the lefty-righty. Lefties, 18% of the league. They don't see the pitching that often. The ball comes in with a different trajectory on it. So you take a team that doesn't have the best offensive metrics. Now you add a lefty to the equation where those games naturally go to the under. In a spot where everyone's saying it's Citizens Bank Park, it's going to be hot and the ball's going to fly out of there, I don't disagree. That ballpark is absolutely built to be a hitter-friendly club. And you look at the guys they have out there with Schwarber and Bohm and Stott and, Harper, and go on and on and on and on. This is a hitter-friendly ballpark. It's a disadvantage for the Cincinnati Reds to have the lefty coming in there. And it's the chalk spot. Philadelphia. I don't know. Are they number one in the NL East yet?
Not yet. I don't think they're going to beat tonight either. Disagreement again. I'm going with the Reds again, Mike. I think I don't know if I was secretly born in the Midwest or something, because I love these Midwestern teams. But, I disagree on the Luzardo take. If you look at Luzardo, he's actually been terrible at home this year. He had one good home start against the San Francisco Giants, who, as we know, at the time had the least runs scored in the entire sport of Major League Baseball. Outside of that start against the Giants, he's actually 0-4 at home straight up, 24 earned runs in 19 innings pitched. Absolutely terrible. And his peripherals are actually worse. 29 hits, 8 walks, 3 home runs against. And I was trying to figure this out. I just think that Luzardo's just not seeing life well in Philly right now. I don't know if it's the fans, the stadium, it's some sort of psychological thing, but that is a big sample of awful baseball from Luzardo in this ballpark. And you look at Chase Burns here. This guy is an absolute stud. Second overall pick, 2024 MLB draft. Biggest signing bonus in league history, more than Paul Skeens, who was number 1 overall in 23. This guy's blue chip, and he's also elite. Not only that, Cincinnati, coming off a loss, is 3-0 this year if Burns pitches. He is the stopper for this team. And if you look at what's going on here in terms of his schedule, he's 2-0 road outside of the division, and he's 1-0 road outside of the division, coming off a home ace quality start, which he is in this. He aced Washington in his previous start. So he's a momentum pitcher going from home to road. And final point on this, in terms of the matchup data between these teams and these pitchers, Burns did actually lose a game in Philly last year, Sunday, July 6th, 3-1 against Zach Wheeler. He pitched fine in the game, only 1 earned run against. So he pitched well in this stadium against this lineup. Philly was laying minus 240 in that game. This is downgraded by 100 points. So it shows you what the books think of Luzardo. And the reason why is what I just said, but also compounding on that. Last year at home against Cincinnati, Luzardo gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, in only 2 innings pitched before getting pulled in a 9-6 loss against Andrew Abbott. Line also downgraded from that. I think this is zigzag. I think Burns is the stopper. I don't disagree. Mattingly is a great coach. I don't disagree. The Phillies are a bye team going forward. They will be better at the end of the season. This, of course, is baseball. It is 1 of 1, May the 19th. I like the Reds. Mike likes the Phillies. Mike, any further comments? Or are we?
Yeah, what are your thoughts around the total on this game? A lot of people looking at this thing saying it's warm weather, and that means the ball's going to fly out of the park here. Do you auto drop this thing? Do you look at this thing and say, boy, this has got to be in alignment, in consensus with the general betting public right now, saying this thing goes over the mark? Or do you think maybe there's a chance we do see a little bit of a battle here between Burns and Luzardo?
I don't see a battle, but I think if this gets to an over, it's going to be because Luzardo gives up runs. I have this game graded to hit 9 or 10 runs. This was upgraded last year when Luzardo faced Abbott at home. It was an over 9-6 on an 8, and this is moved up to 9. Burns' line against Wheeler was actually 9, hovering right in the same range. So books do expect runs, and as I always say, I'm not in the clubhouse with these guys interviewing them, asking them how they're going to feel. We're looking at their patterns through the numbers. I do see more runs in this game, but great conversation there. We will debate this one tomorrow again, as there will be another game, and we will keep it moving. See you guys in the chat. Our guy 9 Legacy says Phillies win by margin again. Tell us now if you think the same thing after I gave my breakdown. I don't know. We'll see, but let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, divisional baseball in Detroit. Parker Messick, Kiter Montero, game 2 of this series. Guardians Tigers. We saw it last night. We tried to buy Framber Valdez. That was not a big time play for either of us, just more of a commentary point on the show. But Valdez looked terrible yet again. 5 earned runs, could not get anybody out. 8-2 loss. Now you get Messick here on the bump, looking like an ace against Montero. Mike, is there bounce back tonight?
Boy, this is a Cleveland Guardians slam dunker here for you guys. I give out the golden ticket every so often. One of my favorite spots on the card, and today I'm giving it to you for free right here, right now. And it is the Cleveland Guardians here. Couple things, right? We can talk about the psychology of the team, and they've been taking beatings with their pitchers here in Detroit Tigerland, right? It's obvious they're now 2-11 in their last 13 games. The flip side, the Guardians are 9-3 in their last 12 games. So you got some positivity there. You got Parker Messick. I mean, the dude's he's a lefty. Got to love the fact that ball comes in with different rotation. I'm also a lefty, so I'm a big advocate of hearing how the coaches growing up used to talk about the advantage the lefties had. 2.35 earned run average over 9 starts. He's allowed 2 runs or less in 7 of 9. The guy's a beast. On top of that, you look at the Detroit side of things, and again, I think they're just low right now. They're right. Kiter Montero, he's not pitching well. He's getting hit hard. The ball gets put in play. And the flip side, the Guardians aren't striking out very much. This is a bad spot for the Detroit Tigers right now. And then one of my favorites, I talk about the WRC plus. Think of it as the hybrid stat. It's like DVOA in football, right? We're just a couple of months away from football already, Shark. And it's a hybrid. It kind of takes into all account pitcher versus batter, home versus road splits, the weather elements, the ballpark factors, and 100 is the Mendoza line. When a team's got 100, they're middle of the road. Well, this Cleveland Guardians team's got a 146. When they get the cover on the ball, it gets smashed out of there, and it is a volatile offense to have to play against out there. They're number 2 in baseball over their last 10 days. So a lot to like for the Guardians. This is a double dipper. This is Guardians first 5. This is Guardians full game. I meant to do it before we started the show. I'm going to take a look at what Parker Messick is to get the win in here. I mean, look, this guy's strikeout prop on top of it. Literally one of my favorite games on the card. So I was looking all over the board on this thing here, and over 5.5 strikeouts. This feels a lot like the Shane McClanahan spot from yesterday. So fire away, Shark. What say you?
Disagree. I think we got
oh my gosh.
Disagreement here.
Power breakdown.
The Shark here. I never call myself by the third person. I'm feeling myself today, gentlemen. But I'm liking a lot of these dogs on the card. I just think it's zigzag in these series where the games are tightly graded. And if you look at Cleveland here, actually, they've been very efficient opening series on the road, which you saw yesterday. They're not good sustaining success in game 2. They're actually 1-4 road, game 2 of a series off a win in the opener. So that is a very low cover rate, 20%. I like Parker Messick, as you know. I've backed him numerous times. I think this is where you want to sell, however. He's pitched 5 out of his last 6 games at home, so he's very comfortable at home. His only road start in this window, that is over a month of time, was at the A's. By far his worst start of the season. 5 innings pitched, 3 home runs against, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. Of course, yes, that is Sacramento. It's a bandbox. I get it. But I do think he's going to struggle here to a certain degree. I think he's unsustainable on the road. And you look at Montero, I think it's a nice buy low here. Polar opposite conversation. Montero has had 2 consecutive road starts, 3 of 4 on the road. In that window where he's been bad road, only 1 home start against Texas on May 2nd, 5-1 win, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run on a solo shot. And I gave you guys Texas on that, Detroit on that Saturday. Ultimately, in this matchup, not a lot of matchup data from Montero. He has not pitched against Cleveland in 2 years. He did ace the Guardians the last time he faced them in the fall of 2024. Messick did take a tight loss at home last September. Of course, he was called up from the minors in August. Detroit 4-2. This line is short, and I think they're zigzagging this series, as I said. Again, 1 of 1. It is May 19th. We will revisit tomorrow. Big dog stuff developing here on this Tuesday morning. Mike likes the Guardians, as do I usually, but I don't like them tonight.
Interesting spot here. Do you find it sus that the books won't give you a price for Parker Messick to record the win?
Yeah, absolutely.
No price tag on Messick to record the win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't bet props in baseball very often, so I'm unfamiliar with that marketplace. Is that common?
No, it's suspect. It's to me, it just feels like the books are concerned. They don't know what line to put out there for the Montero side of things because, they do want to balance the book. But like yesterday, McClanahan was plus 265. So it didn't scream. I mean, it screamed he was going to give up some runs, and he did. It just so happened that Tampa Bay's offense put up an absolute ton more than the other side of things there. But no, we'll see. We'll have to revisit that for 5 p.m. in pre-gaming, but I'll be taking Messick to get the win as well.
Yeah, onward. You're seeing considerable steam here on Cleveland as well. It's up to minus 160 or minus 170 here as well. A lot of movement, great conversation, divisional baseball. And we'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, more divisional baseball here. As I mentioned, 10 on this Tuesday. Mets at Nationals game 2. This game went nuts last night late. Mike, if you had the over in this game, you look back and you said, wow, why did I even bother sweating the first couple innings? Game it finished in the mid-20s after an explosion by the Mets in the top of the 12th. This pitching matchup is very interesting. Nolan McLean here, real ace quality, great stuff. Foster Griffin, journeyman, looked great up until his last start, getting absolutely unloaded on at Cincinnati. Mike, is Griffin capped in the market or what's going on here?
I think it's a good national spot. For one reason, and I told you about it last week, you and I were head-to-head in a Mets fade spot for me, and that was because the Mets are playing against a lefty. And so for that reason, I will continue to fade the Mets until they show me that they can find a way. I suspect they'll bounce back in clusters. Here's the thing about McLean. If you look at his last start, very misleading. You have to dig into the numbers to really decipher what this kid's all about right now. And what it showed me his last start is he struggled with command and control. And he had a lot of pitches, didn't go very deep. And those are 2 warning signs, I think, that are red flags that this guy's arm might be a little stretched. There might be a little bit of information out on this guy now. Whatever the case may be, though, I think this is one of those situations where, yes, we can catch the home dog at a favorable price tag. Yes, we can take advantage of, I think, the misleading performance out there. And, just to kind of clarify it and quantify it for you guys, rather it shows that he went 7 innings deep his last start, but I don't know. I just think this is one of those spots. He gave up 6 hits. There was 3 dudes on base every single inning for that guy, man. He was pitching to contact. He did have 7 strikeouts. I like that too. You and I have talked about how they like playing behind McLean. I just think the neutralizer is the lefty, and that's where I want to take advantage of the Nats. At least just the first 5. I don't need him in the full game. Give me the Nats first 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. We talk about Foster Griffin here. He obviously hadn't pitched in baseball, in Major League Baseball in 4 years. So at some point, the lineups are going to get information and tape on this guy and adjust. It kind of looks like that's what happened in the recent start at Cincinnati. 9 earned runs against in 4 1/3. But Mike and I were actually talking about this last Thursday after we did the show. And I did mention that his only other bad start this year was actually a matinee on a Thursday at Pittsburgh. So if you guys just do the equation here with me, 2nd consecutive road start, matinee at the Central. It's the middle of the afternoon in a foreign ballpark. Extremely notable stuff. That's the only time he's been terrible this year. So if you go back to that start, it was Thursday, April 16th at Pittsburgh where he got shelled, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. He did come home on a Tuesday, your exact same calendar spot, in the division against the Atlanta Braves, who look like the class of the entire league right now. And the Nats hammered the Braves in his bounce-back outing 11-4. So I do think that, Mike, you're onto something here. I think as much as the league might be adjusting to this guy, I really think he actually has some sustainability. And last start was more of an outlier in a matinee time. McClain gets run support, no doubt, but I do think the line is on Washington here. I would lean towards Washington, and I am currently on the screen in full here. And we're back. We're good. Lean Washington, and we'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, big dog stuff here. More New York baseball, New York game 2. Toronto at the Yankees. Saw it last night. Yankees took care of business. It wasn't clean living, I'll tell you that. It was 7-6. The game was back and forth. Now you get Dylan Cease at Will Warren. Mike, I have a hat on. What's going on in this one?
Wow, what a spot. Fun game last night on top of it, but the challenge there's two things going on here right now. I think this is motivation pitcher front right now. Dylan Cease is having probably his best season ever. 2 earned runs or less in 7 of 9 starts. I mean, it's tremendous to see what he's doing out there. And frankly, he's outperforming his expected ERA on top of that. So right now he's averaging around a 35% strikeout rate. That's bad news. I told you guys about this Yankees team, and where I think they kind of struggle is the fact that 2/3 of their lineup is not hitting their weight. They're not hitting their batting average. They're not hitting to earn their contracts. And so you bring in a high strikeout potential, a guy that's got the potential to be one of the best pitchers in baseball this season from a metric standpoint. Obviously, we know what Ohtani's doing out there. Against righties now, let's talk about this, New York Yankees lineup. I told you they're clustering, and they're clustering to shit. In the last 2 weeks, they're hitting 29th in baseball on their 64 WRC plus, 28th in baseball. Remember, I told you guys 100 is the medium point. 64. We just heard a 146, and that's why the Guardians are going to smash. Now I'm telling you, the Yankees are in trouble, but I don't want to get involved on the side. I want to get involved in the total. It's gone up to 9. You can catch an under 8.5 at, I think there's a little plus money on there. I got a first 5 under 4.5 for the pitching duel because, for what it's worth, Shark, I like this Willie Warren kid. We talked about, is he going to have a lineup or a spot in the lineup when, push comes to shove and everybody comes back? Well, guess what? He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 8 of his 9 starts. So on top of that, he's averaging just about a 4.92 strikeout to walk ratio. So that's good enough to be 9th in baseball. I think we got a battle here. I think it's going to be a fun pitcher's duel. This game's going to be fast. I don't like the number. I don't know why they're putting an 8.5 and now even a 9 on it, but I'll let the public dummy it up. I'll take the unders. I'll take some spots here. And first 5 under, I can catch a 4.5 at even money, as I mentioned. And then the full game, plus 108s are out there on the 8.5. So I'm going to take that too. I don't care about the 9 at this case. I don't see it being 5-4. It's either going to go way over or way under. And so I'll take the plus money at the plus 108.
Yeah, as I said, I have a hat. I love this hat. Don't necessarily love the team from a fandom standpoint, but the buy hat is engaged. We're taking the Blue Jays tonight at plus 122. And really good spot, if we're being honest. And Mike, you're talking about Dylan Cease having a great campaign. There's just no way around it. He looks absolutely elite. He's in his prime. He's 30 years old. He's pitched in almost every ballpark, switching leagues multiple times. You go through his last 3 road starts, only 5 earned runs combined, 2-0 last 2, 2-0 last 2 at AL opponents. Not only that, at some point the Blue Jays are going to wake up here. I was watching a game last night, and the Blue Jays had the lead before they gave it away. Shout out to Jazz Chisholm for a real baller-ish home run off the pole in the 8th inning. But I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think it's coming tonight against Cease. His stuff is absolutely elite. Not only that, the announcers last night were talking about injuries to the Blue Jays. They've had a lot of injuries. And I said yesterday, Vladdy Guerrero's put on a little weight. Maybe he needs to lock it in from that standpoint. He's a professional athlete. Let's get it going here. But when you really look at the dynamic here, at some point, Toronto's got to turn the corner. They're 21-26. That's 47 ball games. It's almost 50. I was thinking about it before, and I was saying, you go to the World Series, you lose in Game 7, you're going to be flat. But how long can you be flat for? We'll give you 50 games. We're not going to give you 100. This is getting to a point of urgency here, and it really is a nice spot to fade Warren. Mike and I have been on the Warren train here. We said he wasn't really projected in the rotation. He's clearly got his spot here now. But coming off of 2 out of his last 3 starts against Baltimore, both looking great, in the last month, only start not against Baltimore. Home start on Wednesday, May 6th against Texas, took a 6-1 loss. Looked absolutely terrible in the process. 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 10 runners on base, 2 home runs against. I think you're seeing a zigzag with Warren. I think he's comfortable against the Orioles. He's uncomfortable externally. And speaking of externally for tonight's matchup, this is the Blue Jays, who he faced last year, and he got absolutely shelled at home, giving up 8 earned runs in one of his worst starts, if not his worst start of the entire year. The line is short. This is going to be a tight series. This is an uptick point for the Blue Jays. Great matchup data, great pitcher data. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Blue Jays at plus 122. And let's cash. Keeping it moving.
Add one more piece to it, Shark, here. We're going to make this the official leg 2 of the rollover challenge. I was going to make you guys wait till I go live for pregame in here, but we cashed yesterday. We got the $25, no run first inning at a minus 115. Right now, this is even money. So we'll take that 25. That 25 paid us out 46.74. We'll take that 46.74. We'll put it on no run first inning, leg number 2 of the rollover challenge.
Absolutely. I wouldn't disagree. And just one point on that game last year. It was actually a road game for Warren at Toronto, but the Blue Jays scored 7 runs in the first inning on this guy. Multiple home runs. He was very uncomfortable. Very similar lineup as well. It's Guerrero. It was others. They will be ready to go tonight. Take Toronto and let's cash. Next game on the card, going to the center of the country, 7:40. That is 6:40 Central. Game 2 of this series, Red Sox at Royals. You saw it last night. We told you guys to take Sonny Gray. He came through 3-1 Red Sox. The conversation yesterday was dominant Red Sox at the Central. Central being really a pile of nothing right now. Very mediocre baseball across the division. Now you get Bailey Falter here, campaign 1 with Kansas City. Ranger Suarez on the bump. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this Royals offense. And it still kind of stays the course here. They put 1 run on the board yesterday. I don't know if that was because of the pitching situation out there, but road teams, favorites, close games, they continue to dominate. And that's what we see here. Now, you want to look back over the history. It shows you continually they're a favorite for a reason. And I think that despite the shenanigans that we put on Boston here, you and I talked about it the other day. Once the pundits want to start going in and hating on this team, it's time to get back off on the other side of it here. So I'm not against Boston in this case here. I think it's a fair price tag. I think you got a nice looking team here with Ranger Suarez, lefty on lefty. But the spot that I really like in this one again is the under. I think you look at these two teams again, based on that lefty-lefty matchup here, lots of movement in the way of the Red Sox. It's gone from minus 105 to there's minus 130s and 136s out there right now. So Falter comes in here with that 10.13 ERA. That's the suspect piece, in my opinion. And I don't think he does that again. I think he straightens his shit out a little bit here. Collectively, this guy's, had a tough start. I think he can bounce back. I think both these teams can go out there and manage the duel. I do like the Red Sox, but I'll take the under 8. There's a minus 120 on the under 8 right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I'm going to give you guys the Red Sox. You can get minus 122 in the market, and just a great spot. As we said, the Red Sox are just dominating on the road in this division. They're 5-0 last 5. I don't think it stops tonight. I think it's also a really nice spot to buy Ranger Suarez. Suarez is coming off of 2 straight losses, both at home. And you talk about outliers where you really want to buy. 2 straight losses, 0 earned runs in those games. Mike, you talk about just insanity. How do you lose 2 straight games where you don't give up a single run? It's just a great statistical buy low. And the only other time this year he did lose 2 consecutive games, it was in the beginning of the year. He lost a road game at Houston, and he lost a home game against San Diego. Not coincidentally for this handicap, he went on the road outside of the division in this portion of the country's central time at St. Louis and was an absolute ace. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 walks, 0 earned runs, 7-1 Boston win. And something I was looking at before regarding Boston, you were just mentioning it, and we've been saying it every time we talk Red Sox. This team really is a statistical anomaly. They have a top 5 pitching staff in baseball. And if you look at their arms, they are elite. And they have the best starting left-handed pitching situation in all of Major League Baseball with Crochet, with Toll, with Conley Early, with Ranger Suarez. They are loaded on lefties. both Tampa Bay and Boston both have given up precisely 188 runs, which is elite pitching. And Tampa Bay is 11 and a half games better than Boston. That is an unreal snapshot to the buy low for the bats. And final point on this, another Boston statistic here. If Boston scores 3 or more runs in the game, they're winning 80% of their ball games this year. So they only need 3 runs to win. And I believe they will get 3 runs off of Bailey Falter with his 10.13 ERA. I don't disagree he will improve. This guy came up with the Phillies. He pitched for the Pirates for the last couple of years. He is an above-average pitcher, but I do think Suarez has a massive edge in the matchup, and I think the Royals will get beat tonight. Take the Red Sox and take the under, and let's cash. Next game on the card, a couple games center of the country here. Twins Astros game 2. Last night we saw a pretty crazy one here. Zebby Matthews making his second start of the year against Lance McCullers. McCullers, in my opinion, very unpredictable. Matthews, will he sustain his high quality? Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, this is a game I just didn't really have a really strong take on. Yesterday we had the rain delay yesterday. That kind of gummed things up right off the gate. So, looking at that, I don't know how that affected bullpen pieces. It just kind of throws everything into a flux, if you will, here. But there's a couple pitchers on the card tonight that have themselves, I think, some favorable strikeout matchups. Zebby Matthews against this Houston Astros team that's, call it mid right now, at a tag of 5.5 for plus 125 is a fair number. Houston striking out over the last 2 weeks at a 24.3% rate. That makes them the 6th highest in baseball. So if you've got a pitcher that's averaging in, on, or around the line that they're setting at plus money, and a team that's in a shit show for a strikeout perspective here, I'll take some Zebby Matthews K-prop action. I think that's probably one of the better looks from a K-prop on the card tonight is good old Zebby and going out there and mowing them down at over 5.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, you talk about a prototype here, 6'5", 225, 25 years old, actually turning 26 on Friday. Happy early birthday, Zebby. He'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, you talk about a high-quality pitcher. Previous start, 9-1 win, 5 Ks, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Go back to last year, decent sample at home, very effective situationally. I honestly don't love the game either. We talked about this yesterday. This series, early week here, one of the more difficult series. I would leave it to Mike on this one. I think Zebby Matthews could absolutely ace this game, and we will leave it at that, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, better stuff here, more divisional baseball, center of the country, Wrigley Field. Brewers-Cubs game 2. Last night, we thought Shota Imanaga would get a bounce back and a win. Far from that. Blowout Brewers over in the game. Projections just out the window. I was shocked to see that result. I think Mike was too. Now you got Ben Brown against Mizorowski. This should be a pitcher's duel in theory. Low line. Mike, are we going to see a tighter game tonight?
I like Mizorowski again. The problem I'm having with Mizorowski now is that they're starting to get a little nuts with those K props, right? So like 7.5 now is the number you're seeing out there. Now, listen, in terms of all the pitchers going out there today, he's the best guy on the card. So 39.6% strikeout rate, probably an unsustainable 14.1 strikeouts per 9. So that's going to be a trouble for the Chicago Cubs side of things here. But, man, they've given up 7 of their last 9 games to the K prop as well. So it's another one of them little plus money dingers that I really like to take advantage of here. The Cubs strikeout rate over the last, call it 2 weeks, 22.1%. So I try to be fair and balanced when I look at these things and, who's buying, who's in a buy situation from a strikeout perspective, and which team do you want to sell on because they're striking out more? It points back to take advantage of Mizorowski. Now, I don't know what you do in terms of the side here because the Cubs were just absolutely flat. And does that mean they're kind of getting to that little mediocre turning point with Memorial Day around the corner? Maybe. But, listen, I think you can get away with this strikeout prop again. I don't like 7.5s. They do scare me a little bit. But, Mizorowski to catch the win is priced at plus 150. I think that's a fair number. And, I just look at this one and say total strikeouts, 7.5. And look, it's coming down. Take this plus 110 on over 7.5 strikeouts, Shark. That's back-to-back strikeout props for a guy that likes to focus on hitting.
I'm feeling it. I might tail that, actually. Mizorowski, I was watching him pitch against the Yankees. The guy is just electric. We've talked about Skeens. We've talked about some of these other pitchers. Jose Soriano's kind of come and gone. Davis Martin, all these other names. Mizorowski's just got an incredible, incredible delivery. The guy delivers the ball about like 45 feet from home plate. I swear he's got such length going towards the plate. It's really impressive mechanics. I wouldn't disagree with the take. I think the game is well graded. Mizorowski did win both environments in the playoffs last year, his last 2 times facing the Cubs early in the playoffs. I think he probably wins again tonight. Ben Brown, upside pitcher, as we mentioned, kind of flamed out a little bit. It appears he has found something in his 3rd or 4th year back in the rotation. I see a tight game, a low-scoring game. Tough money line spot. Take the K-prop. Let's cash, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 7:45 in St. Louis. As we mentioned, this is the only game that is a game 1 tonight. Series opener, Pirates, Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Very interesting dynamic here. Mike, I have a beautiful hat. What do you think of this game?
I think we're going to have ourselves a nice, interesting battle. I think we seem to find our way to go 1-1 when it comes to these head and headers. So best way to go better than 1-1 is to put a bunch of them out there, because look, 56% of the bets and 63% of the cash have come in on the Cardinals. It's moving aggressively in their direction. It's moving aggressively away from the Pirates. And frankly, look, fading the Cardinals in the game 1 of a series has been a very good thing. But the Pirates, of course, everyone's expecting the bounce back. Their bats started to kind of heat up a little bit, but then they came into that best team in baseball, Philadelphia Phillies, and they've, what they call that, Shark, the old fuck around and find out. But I'm going to have to lean to the St. Louis Cardinals in this game. I like the tag. I like the home team. It's a bad travel spot off of a letdown series for the Pirates, but I don't love this game. So talk to us. Talk to us about, see if you can sway me the other way.
I hope I can, because I actually really love this handicap, and I love the hat. Let me grab it as we keep it going here. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Pirates on the plus here, plus 108. One of my favorite prints, little throwback wool 1910. And but what's going on in this game? You're just getting a great buy low. This is a statistical handicap for me, and it really checks every single box. You're getting Pittsburgh here coming off of a sweep against the Phillies and a day off. That's the reset. It's what I talk about oftentimes in NBA basketball. You get crushed, you get a day off, and the next game really is a new point, day 1 of a new journey. They're going to be cleansed here. Not only that, you get a nice bounce back for Mitch Keller off a Skeens loss. A lot of people would probably be surprised to hear that Skeens has actually lost 4 games, and it's only May, but he has.
Not me.
And Keller is actually 2-0 in the last 2 games following a Skeens loss. So Keller does pick up the scraps and put it together. And I think very precisely for this handicap, the only other time Pittsburgh got swept this year, they got swept at home by your St. Louis Cardinals 4-0. And the game following the final game of that series, which was a 10-5 Paul Skeens home loss on Thursday, April 30th, another divisional game, Mitch Keller shoved and beat the Cincinnati Reds 9-1. I gave you guys Keller in that game to beat the Reds. I'm giving you him here tonight again. And speaking of that series, notice what I said. This is game 5 between these teams this year. St. Louis is 4-0 in the matchup, and they're 4-0 on the road. This is a road-heavy series, in my opinion. I see a pushback from Pittsburgh here. Not only that, Keller's coming off a terrible start. He just lost a home game against the Rockies, and it went way over. Mike and I tried to give you guys the under in that game. What happened? There was a rain delay, and the guy couldn't pitch. Mike and I, after the show, actually had a conversation, and I said, Mike, our handicap is gone. There's a rain delay. Go back about a month ago. Keller had a rain-out start against Washington at home, his only other bad start of the year, and he came back off of that terrible start and aced the high-quality Tampa Bay Rays in a 6-3 win. He will bounce back personally off the rain-out dud. And final point on this, I think it's a great spot to sell the Cardinals and Matthew Liberatore. Liberatore is coming off of back-to-back road starts at Western Time, at the A's and at the Padres. This is his first divisional game of the entire year. He's played 5 straight games against Western opponents, 9 consecutive games to start the year out of the division. I think this is a competitive uptick. I think it's a great spot to fade this guy. And Liberatore is 0-2 this year, coming home off of a previous road game. So he's one of those guys that comes off a trip, takes a little time to get it together. He's 2-0 this year at home, second game at home off of a previous loss. So he's like an NBA player. Get off the plane, take the dog for a walk, find the girlfriend, start one, he's got nothing, then he comes back with his quality. I said that was the final point, Mike. I told you I love this handicap. It's my best one on the board. Final point on this. Talk about the metrics with the teams and the numbers. It's a great spot to buy St. Louis. St. Louis is 27-19. They're a better road team. They're 15-8 on the road. They're only 12-11 at home. Their run differential is only +3. The Pirates are 24-23, significantly worse in the standings, better run differential, +18, and an above-average road team, 11-10. It's a great spot. It checks every single box. I love the Pirates today. Mike, I gave you the full report. If you can't get on board now, I don't know what to tell you. Any thoughts?
I'll go back to my WRC stats. You got a lefty, and that's the problem for the Pirates. Mitch Keller ain't hitting. He ain't swinging the bat. And frankly, neither are the Pirates. They're a 110, right? So 100's average. They're a 110. They're a little bit better than average against righties. They dipped to an 84 against lefties out there. So we'll see. That'll be a fun one to battle. I got it starred as well. So we'll come back and talk about it tomorrow and see who got on the right side of the victory there. But I dig the lid, my friend.
Oh, without question. And I on your point, I do see potentially a pitcher's duel here. I could see a lower scoring game. Keller actually last year was 3-1 against St. Louis. Only 6 earned runs against this lineup in 26 and a third innings pitch. He's going to bounce back inevitably. I like his props too. Under earned runs would be a great look for me too. I think he's going to be super locked in here as well. So I think the under has some access as well. We will revisit tomorrow, but a big dog special at Busch Stadium tonight. Let's cash. Next game on the card, 8:40. Tap the Rockies. Tap the Rockies. Tomorrow Rocker is in the Rockies tonight against a relief pitcher. We saw it last night, Mackenzie Gore on the bump. He actually got hurt, and the Rangers did lose the game. We said it yesterday. Contrarian special, we got it right. Rockies now on an even shorter number. Mike, is this where the Rockies get the Rangers again?
I don't know. You look at Rocker, and he tends to get rocked quickly, and then he kind of stabilizes and right-sizes himself, so I don't want to get him. Frankly, I don't have anything I like about this game. I feel like we got the advantage yesterday. I'd probably lean to the yes run first inning. I'll look and see what that price tag is here, but I'll defer to you and see if you have any thoughts that can lead us to victory in this game.
Yeah, the best look in this game would be the over. You saw an over yesterday. This is a higher line, game 2 of the series, and I think it connects with what I tried to kind of suggest with Kamal Rocker. The guy's a home pitcher. He's terrible on the road. The only other time he's been favored against a National League opponent on the road the last 2 years, he did take a loss. Final score, I believe, was 14-3 at Brady Singer and the Reds last year. So I don't see him performing well at this stadium at all. And I don't think his stuff really connects with the atmosphere of Coors Field being high altitude, balls flying out of the yard. This guy throws down the middle. He throws a nice fastball. I think the Rockies lineup will be all over him. I also think the Rangers will bounce back and get some runs against this bullpen environment from the Rockies. This guy Peralta here is pretty much an unknown pitcher, relief pitcher, probably a bullpen game. Over is the best look in this game. Take it in, let's cash, and we'll keep it moving. 4 late night games tonight. First one, going back to Anaheim, Angels-A's game 2. Jacob Lopez at Reed Detmers. If you guys were watching the game last night, I was saying to Mike, that was the worst. That was the worst beat of the season for me in my portfolio. That was an absolutely disgusting loss. Looked like JT Ginn was about to throw a no-hitter. You look back 15 minutes later, they lose the game. 2 things on that. A's lineup, could we give the guy maybe more than one run? And second of all, you hate to see a guy give up a hit in the 9th, not get pulled where he's clearly deflated, and then immediately get walked off. Just a disgusting loss in all parts. Now we got a bounce back spot. Mike, what's going on here?
I didn't like that athletic spot yesterday. I thought the under was the play in that one there. And yeah, we see that so often than not that these, whether they be the analytics or the stats, you're the Athletics. Your goal isn't to go out there and get no hitters. And shame on management for fucking that one up, because that was an easy win for a low scoring affair. And if you're 1-0 into that ninth inning or whatever, you should be winning that game. So absolutely terrible break. I felt for you, my guy. I'm not a Detmers guy, so it's tough for me to get involved in the. You know what I would say here? I would say probably after that demoralizing spot, part of the reason why I couldn't get on the Athletics yesterday, I didn't want to lay odds. I didn't want to lay juice. Today, though, at plus 122, I'll run back to these boys. That 122 seems to be a little sweet spot number that cashes for us here. So Lopez got a shit ERA at 5.8, but Detmers ain't catching wins and he's leaking runs. So that's a bad formula here. And I think a good bounce back after being probably a little fired up and pissed off about that last game is a good spot to take the Athletics here.
Yeah, I would agree. And you look at just the final box score of that game, it's so egregious. I mean, you win a game 2-1. Your only 2 hits in the game are the final 2 batters of the game. I mean, I don't have the data in front of me, but I'd love to look back in the history of baseball to see how many games finished like that. I mean, it's got to be we're talking 1 out of every couple, 10,000 games, absolutely rare. And you look at the box score. The A's had 7 hits in the game, actually hit into a double play to close the top of the 9th. Had the bases loaded, 1 run in, 1 out. Guys, can we just not hit into a double play? Just get 1 more run, pop fly, anything. And then, of course, blowing the game. But no, I think you want to buy low on Jacob Lopez here. This guy's actually a great road pitcher. He's 4-0 on the road last 4. He looks inflated peripherally. 27 walks versus only 30 strikeouts. But most of those walks were clustered in his first 4 starts. He had 17 walks in his first 4. He has pulled it together since then. And as you mentioned, Reed Detmers giving up some runs. And we've said this before, Detmers pitches better on the road himself. For whatever reason, he likes pitching on the East Coast. I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe I'm still licking my wounds from that beat last night. But Lopez performs well as a road pitcher. Detmers is better on the road himself, not a home pitcher. I would lean towards the A's in this one. And we will keep it moving. A couple more games in the car. Going back to Seattle tonight, White Sox Mariners game 2. Anthony Kay versus Bryce Miller. Looks like Miller will be an opener for Castillo. That is because Castillo has been absolutely terrible. Kay did just catch a win against the Mariners at home, 6-1. Now you get matchup 2. Mike, I ordered a hat last night. It hasn't come yet. It's a great print. Everybody in the chat that loves the White Sox just like us, you get ready for this print. It's a dope hat, but anything in this game.
I mean, look, they make money for us, right? We were wrong last night. They didn't make any money for us. They cost us in that spot. So whether it was first 5 or full game, they just didn't have enough in the bats to go out there and fire up. And I did tell you, I thought that the Mariners, the better team, not just because of the cluster of what the White Sox have done now, but that's a playoff team. That's how a playoff team should perform. So disappointed with the outcome, but I still think the read on the team was the right spot there. And regardless of the fact that whether it was a win or a loss, they don't give a shit about playing early season baseball. So they're not really going to grip down tight on the bats in the first and second month of the season saying, come on guys, we need to rally and win. They're beating teams in their conference. They're going down to Texas. They're slapping those teams around. Then they come back home and they get game 1 of the series. So I don't know their motivation in this series. I kind of lean to the under in this one. The White Sox on Tuesdays are an under squad. For whatever reason, they're 44-19 to the under. They just don't perform. And I think based on what I saw from that last game, I'm going to use that as the litmus test to say, this is a cold bat series for the White Sox. I'm going to try to prognosticate that and will it into fruition here, but give me the under. Give me the under 7.5 minus 104. White Sox and Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I'm still working on this game. I would like to get to the White Sox. Not sure if I can do it. Miller is kind of a tough read here. He's only had 1 start on the year. He looked okay. He lost, but didn't pitch terribly. 2 earned runs at Houston, about a couple, or actually in his last start, excuse me. But he labored 8 hits, couple walks, 1 walk. Moral of the story: this game's just sketchy. We like to zone in on the White Sox very often, but Kay is at the bottom of their rotation. He did beat Castillo 6-1. Castillo might come out of the bullpen. I'm not entirely sure. A lot of moving parts. You don't want to buy the same team every single night. the hat's coming in the mail. The vibes are high for the White Sox. I see you guys on the South Side. Great team this year, but tough game here. Let's keep it moving. Two more games.
I'm gonna add one more point to that. Just kind of looking back at some of my notes here, I think that first 5 under 4.5 is sitting at minus 127. I think that's a really good price tag here. Surprisingly, they're showing that the bullpens make a lot of sense here for the lockdown drag out here. But the two of the top 5 targets today in the Major League Baseball card for strikeouts, number 3 on the list, the Chicago White Sox. Number 5 on the list, Seattle Mariners. So if they're both going to go and strike out against the righty, let's take advantage of this matchup and take that under 4.5.
I wouldn't disagree. I like it.
All right.
Let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, we're going back to San Diego. Game 2 of this series, Dodgers-Padres. You talk about the craziness of the card last night. We saw some games, as we said, in the high 20s in runs. And then you go to this elite matchup, all of a sudden we get a 1-0 game, only runs scored by the Padres in the first inning. Sometimes you want to buy zigzag just based off of that. 8.5 run line off a 1-0 game, no runs scored in 8 consecutive innings to close the game. And now who's on the bump, Mike? It is the man himself, Griffin Gas Canning. What's going on here?
I'll tell you exactly what's going on. We talked about it yesterday. I said the Padres were in a nice little spot there against the Dodgers. I like the Padres again tonight. Okay. Listen, the Padres, you put them in a home dog situation. They tend to bark. At home, they're 73-40. When they're playing against a better team, they perform. And when they're playing against righties, they perform. They're 147-107 against righties. Won 5 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. But you said it, and this is where it crossed off the list for me. Griffin Gas Canning is very hard for me to get behind here. And you know what? I guess this will just be one of those spots where I have to, I guess I have to potentially miss the win, because probably what you should do is you should hammer in on the Dodgers on the run line and catch yourself a nice little plus 105, plus 110 price tag here. But Gas Canning makes this no play for me.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly hate to sort of categorize a team as a no play team for myself, because I really never do that, even when teams burn me. The Dodgers are just tough for me because they're overpriced, they're well priced, yeah. They have eyeballs on them in every game, and it's like we always say: the bigger the team, the bigger the event, the harder it is to bet. It's a big game. I mean, it's a huge rivalry in the division. It's Southern California. The place is live as hell out there at Petco. I mean, Mike, we talk about this all the time. I always reference, spots like Pittsburgh, Chicago, where we'd love to have some beers. Tonight on May 19th, this is the spot if we were going to go to a game. I want to be in San Diego. It's late night East Coast. I want to see runs, and I want to get some beers in this stadium. But I honestly would lean towards the Dodgers. As you said, Canning is just a no back right now. His last 2 losses, both by margin, 7-1 at Milwaukee. Friday night home game in early May, 6-0, 6 earned runs early in the first 5 against St. Louis. Ultimately, I think with the Dodgers, the best play is just to buy the zigzag and the bounce back early. I think they're going to get to Canning. I think your best look in this game is Dodgers in the first 5. I think you can get a good price on that too if you lay a half run, right around probably like minus 110. So for me, the best look in this game would be the first 5 in the Dodgers spot. I wouldn't disagree that the Padres could get them. A lot of moving parts, tough game, but I do think you want to fade Canning early in this matchup. That is that for that one. And let's keep it moving. Final game of the card. Back-to-back games in the AL West to close the card tonight. Game 2 of this series, Giants Diamondbacks. Landon Roop at Ryan Nelson. We saw it last night. I told you guys, funky line. You got Ray versus Gallen. The line's sitting in double digits, 10.5. All of a sudden, you get 14 runs. That is a great snapshot to letting the books tell you a story with their line. Now it comes down to 8.5. Nelson has looked inconsistent. Roop also looking inconsistent, not in great form. Mike, I was looking at this before. We said this yesterday, actually. We said this series is kind of difficult. Honestly, I could kind of make an argument for either side. Anything in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the K-props with Roop in this one. You see, he had a tough start his last go, no question about it, but he's still got a 28.9% strikeout rate. He's averaging almost 11 strikeouts per 9, and he's gone over the number in 8 of his 9 starts. I told you I don't like 7.5s. I feel comfortable and safe. It's like Tommy Boy. Why does he put guaranteed on the box? Oh, it makes you feel nice. You put it under your pillow at night. The guaranteed fairy shows up. When it's at 5.5, that's where I get in the game here. But when I start seeing a guy that's cleared numbers in a massive amount there, 4.5 seems like a really good play on spot. And you can catch it at like minus 120. So, 4.5 because the Diamondbacks have been struggling, or not struggling, but making pretty solid contact. So not the best of opportunities for this game, but in terms of having a play, I'm going to get in on the K prop with the Roopster at minus 120. It's a minus 125 right now.
Yeah, as I said, tough game. Both these pitchers come in on 3-game losing streaks. Nelson appears to be in much better form in that 3-game window. Only 5 earned runs actually in May. He has found something pretty significant here. Don't be fooled by his 5.40 ERA. That was mostly early season. Roop in his 3-game losing streak, 9 earned runs. Back-to-back road starts in the division to take a loss at the Dodgers. Now that I'm looking at this, I do think based on that stat alone, you want to buy the Diamondbacks. When you do see both pitchers having lost 3 and Nelson looking far better in the process of those losses, I think that leans towards the Diamondbacks. And also, I just think this is a home team series in general, and the favorite probably does win here. I might get to it later in the day. I think the Diamondbacks probably the best look in the game, and that is that. Just over an hour, 15 games on a Tuesday, Mike, and we got best bets.
Yeah, so listen, I'm struggling with my best bets right now because we laughed the other day about the paper, right? The one side's got 2 days, the other side's got 2 days, but I had this tiny little slip left at the bottom. And so I made this the full day here. So we got 5 days on one full piece of paper, you guys, in the press here. But listen, I gave you 2K props. I'm going to go with both of those guys. Zebby Matthews over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 125. I've got Mizorowski over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 110. I gave you the rollover official for Toronto, no run first inning. We will officially be putting 46.74 in the kitty at the rollover rate. I'm going to give you the Nationals first 5 at plus 122. I'm going to give you the Toronto Blue Jays under 8.5 at plus 108 as well. And I'll give you the under 8.5 in the St. Louis game as well. That's a loaded up card for you guys from me today. Put my money where my mouth is.
Love it. I'll give you guys the early special here if you guys want to bet at 4 o'clock. 4:10, take the Braves money line. Also taking the.
What do you got for a take?
We're at minus 133.
Okay.
We're taking the Blue Jays. Buy hat is engaged. Money line plus 122. Mm-hmm. Mike, did you give the Red Sox?
No.
Red Sox minus 122.
Okay.
And the buy hat is engaged. As I said, I love the handicap Pirates plus 108.
All right, let's see if we can get a quick rundown on a parlay here. How about are we both go with Tampa Bay?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll go Tampa Bay. What do you say? We'll drop in Athletics. Can we go back to the Athletics? Athletics plus 1.5.
Sure. Yeah.
And then what do you got?
What about the over in the Texas Colorado game?
Okay, there you have it. We'll take over. Best number we can catch on that over is
10, I believe.
Looking like 10. 10s. There we go. So we've got official parlay for the day on the show. Tampa Bay money line parlayed with the Athletics plus 1.5 and Texas over 10 in that Peralta Alexander showdown. Shark, good work, man. A little bit longer on the run today, but I think we had some really great info. It's a full slate, of course. So this is probably what you guys can expect as the norm, is that hour mark. We try to keep it to 50, but sometimes we got to go 60 when we're trying to add in some of these extra spots for you guys. So as always, man, great job. Like the lids. I can't wait to see the White Sox lid. It'll be immediate buy when it shows up. So keep us posted.
It's a swaggy print too. I always try to go a little off the center of the norm with these hats. Oh. And, we got the 1910 one here. The White Sox hat is probably from about 2035. It's very, very high level swaggy and whatnot, but I'll be excited to wear that probably later this week or next week. But, we appreciate you guys. As Mike said, sometimes it goes over. 50 minutes is a really, really fast pace for baseball with 15 games, particularly a lot of divisional games with so much data. Of course, 10 today and tomorrow as well. Goes a little longer. What's 15 minutes in a life? Nothing. It's an opportunity to dominate. We appreciate you guys in the chat hanging out with us. Lunch hour on the East Coast, early morning Pacific, and around the world. If you guys haven't dropped a comment yet, please drop a comment in the chat after the show. It helps to bring not only conversation amongst us, but energy to the show as it grows externally within the algorithm of YouTube. We will be back tomorrow, big getaway day matinee on a Wednesday. That is MLB Bases Loaded on this Tuesday, May the 19th, 2026. For Mike, I'm the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.